This is what I woke up to this morning. It was a beautiful blue sky after a long time of rain, and I thought it was the perfect day to take the morning off since my exams just ended and I needed some time to reconnect with myself, since that's something that usually kind of goes missing during all the time that I'm studying and preparing for exams, because I'm not taking as much time for myself as I usually would. So today I took a morning off, and I usually start my reconnection process, if you want to call it that, with a spiritual reconnection, and for me that means laying out a couple of tarot cards. I know that's not everyone's jam, but I really like it. It's a way to kind of self-reflect on how I'm doing right now and where I'm headed. And it's also a nice way to get some quiet time with just myself and my thoughts and my feelings. So that's why I really enjoy it. I usually use about 3 decks or so. And the decks that I'm using is the Fountain Tarot deck, which is a regular tarot deck, but it has really nice art, and I really enjoy that. And I also use a frequency tarot deck, which is what I'm shuffling right here. And in the middle you can see some oracle cards that also have frequency art on them. I love how colorful the pictures are. So yeah, and occasionally I also take notes on what I see in the cards or what I read about in the little description booklets of what the cards mean. It usually really helps me to make decisions and just check in with myself. The next thing I usually do is to take quite a lot of time to read, and what I'm reading right here is Ram Dass's Be Here Now. Ram Dass is a spiritual teacher, and this book is a book that really helps me to become more mindful, and it's really inspiring to read. It's also really beautiful, which I will show you in a second, but it's something that when I read it, it grounds me, and in a weird way, it reconnects me to myself, my higher self, if you want to call it that, if you're into that. So this is also kind of part of my spiritual reset and spiritual self-connection, to read something like this, which is more of a devotional read, if you want to call it that. Ram Dass wrote this book after coming back from India, and in it he talks a lot about his journey with his guru. And one of the things in his book that he said was this: where there is faith, there is the presence of the guru. He is it all. He is all our impurities. He is all our corruption. There he is, smiling at you through them, saying, and this too. He sees, he understands. Total compassion. Total compassion means you are the universe. You are all form. You are the breath. You are the river. You are the void. You are the desire to be enlightened. You are enlightened. Something I do on a daily basis that sometimes kind of falls off the wagon when it's exam season and there's a lot to do and I'm always tired is to journal, which is what I'm doing next. And journaling to me is my biggest love, my all and everything. And usually after something like this, I don't really have a journal prompt I'm following. I have nothing specific in mind that I want to journal about. It's more so that I journal everything that's going on in my head, everything that's going on emotionally, and I just let my hand do the writing. There's not really a lot of thinking going on. And this is the number one way that I always find out what's going on inside of myself and where I'm headed. And it's a great way to, just ground myself and emotionally reset myself. Usually during phases like exams and stuff like that, when I'm not journaling a lot, also jot down a lot of ideas and random thoughts that pop up into my head, and I put them down on a notepad or my phone because I don't have time to journal on them in an elaborate way. So when I'm journaling after a couple of weeks or days, like I'm doing here, then I refer back to that list of ideas and random thoughts or insights, and I journal about those in a detailed way and think about them again, and also think about how I can take action on a couple of the ideas I've had. The next thing I always do is to take a walk outside in nature, simply because reconnecting to myself in a lot of ways also means reconnecting to nature. And usually I take that time outside with the dog to meditate. So not listening to music or podcasts or anything like that, which is what I would usually do, but simply being in the forest, walking around, enjoying the sun and the nature and listening to the birds, and trying to ground myself and play with the dog a little. And this is one of my favorite ways to meditate, is to just take a walk and be outside and have some fun. And while I was outside, I wrote this: I find something greater than myself in the woods, and thus I find myself, every step closer to who I am eternally, beautiful in words unspeakable, ever creative, giving birth to a new world. My body being an amplification of my consciousness right here and right now. Nature never fails to inspire us because it allows us to listen to ourselves with no judgment, because it does not judge. Nature is inherently loving, praising the Most High without holding anything back. Meditating outside is always a big inspiration for me, and my dog is a big inspiration to me. As silly as that might sound, he is the best meditator I know, and he is so curious about everything. We go out to the same forest almost every single day, and he still plays in this forest as if it were new every single day, sniffing around and just having fun. And that is, to me, a really great teaching. And he's just present with everything that he does, and very loving with everything that he does in a very unconditional way. So just watching him and being with him is a way to meditate in and of itself. The next thing I usually do is to either read fiction or listen to a couple of podcasts and draw something. Today I decided to read some fiction. Currently I'm reading Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Here are also a couple of podcasts I really enjoy. I love Ear Hustle and On Being with Krista Tippett. Here are also some recommendations of some episodes that I really enjoyed, that I find really relevant to the current situation with the Black Lives Matter movement. And when I read fiction, I love to read fiction from cultures that are not my own, at the moment at least, because it really helps me to expand my mind and look at my life in a lot of different ways. And I just also really enjoy the language and culture differences I can find between the pages. Here's a quote by Ocean Vuong that I really enjoyed, which was, "Writing, if nothing else, is a bridge between two people, a bridge made of language, and language belongs to all of us. If I enjoy a poem, that just means I am recognizing within it something of myself, something I must already possess. Therefore, to love a poem is to love a part of myself revealed to me by another person." Anyways, this is it, you guys. I hope you're all having a good day. Stay safe out there if you're protesting. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.